Hey friends, I wanted to pop in here real quick to do the next part in our Homeschooling 101 series. Today we are going to be talking about laws and schedule. I am super relaxed today. How are you guys feeling? I know I should not be super relaxed, but I totally am. Harris County is not in the best situation right now. That's where I live. But I have used like a lot of lavender today, so I'm feeling really good. So I've been really on edge and very nervous. So I'm really surprised that I'm feeling like this relaxed. So I hope that listening to me this relaxed brings you some peace today. All right. So by now you should have your vision. You should define like what it is that you want to work on with your kiddo specifically for sure, either for homeschooling or you can take that to the ARD committee, right? So you have your vision and then your style. You know, hey Nicole, you know just the kind of person you are. You know if you are an outdoor person, an indoor person, then we talked a little bit about how to bring your specific teaching style to your homeschool. So today we're going to talk about laws and scheduling. All right, so what we do kind of have an idea about right now is that the school districts mostly are going to provide some kind of distance learning, and the TEA guidelines have said that it's either going to be synchronous or asynchronous, meaning that you can join in, that your child will be able to join in online in some way, shape, or form while the teacher is teaching with a large group, or they can do another format in which it's more kind of on their own, and so there isn't going to be all of this Zoom meeting at 5 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 10 o'clock that you've got to do. It's going to be kind of more on their own, and then some kind of check-in process. So that is with the school district. So what I want to talk about is homeschooling separately from that, right? So I do traditional homeschooling. And if you're interested in traditional homeschooling, one of the very first things that you've got to do after you define your vision and your style is you need to know what the homeschool laws are in your state. Right? Texas, the law varies by age and grade level. And like, for example, you might not realize that I think it's like kinder, first, and second. For homeschoolers, they don't necessarily need to teach science. And actually, if you go to school, most of the time social studies and science are kind of joined together, right? So they call like social science sometimes. So you wouldn't have to concern yourself with that. And then for the littles, I want to say that history can be geography, it can be character development, it can be Bible, it can be religion, it can be social skills, it can be all kinds of things. So it isn't necessarily defined. And Texas is very open-minded, I would say, in regards to their education. Other states aren't as much, so make sure you know what your laws are. You need to know what your laws are so you know what you need to be teaching. Also, Texas is very much Texas is very open. So for example, there's no testing, there's no STAR test, there's no standardized test, there's no portfolio or anything at the end of the year that you turn in to prove that you've been homeschooling your child. Texas pretty much believes that you're responsible and you're going to do what you said you're going to do, and that's it. Other states, it varies by state, so you need to check out your homeschool laws, and the easiest thing to do really is just to Google homeschool laws and the state that you're in, right? And then in regards to schedule, so I want you to think outside the box a little bit, right? So when you think about schooling, you think about maybe dropping your kid off at school. Your kid goes to school from 8 to 3 o'clock, kid comes home, and then it's homework, dinner, goes to bed. That isn't necessarily the case in homeschool. In homeschool, you create your own schedule. And so I can tell you, like, lately, our rhythm has been, we're getting up late, we're getting up at like 10:30, we're having breakfast right before noon, and then we have we'll have like our morning time, our calendar time, And then like my kids are just famished, right? Like they have to have it's like brunch, and so then they go back and then they have lunch, and then we homeschool for the rest of the afternoon, and then we might do some literature, some math in the evening. Right, so this is really like what works for your kids and what works for you. It isn't necessarily I must get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and do breakfast and shower and everything else, and then my kid goes so that my kid can go to school from 8 to 3. Like totally unnecessary. And then another interesting thing about homeschooling is that like once you're done, there's nothing there that says that you have to provide work for your child for 30 minutes or an hour per subject. Like once you give them the work and they're done, they're done. That's it. There's nothing that says that they have to sit someplace and do work for 8 hours. Nothing. All right. And I will tell you that coming from a traditional classroom, the teacher gets up and stands up in front of the room and teaches for 15 minutes, and then the kids do their work, and then the rest of that time the teacher is working with the children who need extra help. Right? And so some kids finish in 10 minutes, and for some kids it takes 45 minutes. Some kids are taking the work home because they didn't get done in class. It's just whatever the pace is of your child. Right? And so I want you to think about your schedule. Some people who homeschool for 4 days a week. If I know people who homeschool in the evening. I know people who homeschool on the weekends. I know people who take shifts with their husbands. It just kind of depends. And so what I want you to do is think about your homeschool laws and think about what subjects you need to teach. All right, so what your schedule is going to kind of look like. And so the next time that we get together and talk, we are going to talk about how your kiddos learn, right? Because that then is going to guide what kind of curriculum you're going to get for your kiddo, all right? Because there is absolutely nothing worse than getting a piece of curriculum and thinking this is going to work, and then you sit down with your kid and you go, no, I just spent $200 on something that absolutely doesn't work. So we'll talk about that next time. All right, I hope you guys have a great day.